Hello, St George's. Hello, is that Radial Trauma?
Every day, trauma wards witness an epidemic of knife and gun violence.
So if we're alerted by the London Ambulance Service that they're bringing in a stabbed victim, we'll have between 8 and 10 people waiting for that patient to come in.
The NHS is under pressure from older patients, but occupying beds in increasing numbers are young victims of weapons.
It's not rare to see it on about every shift that we come into, that somebody will have been stabbed.
What we are going to do is get an X-ray done first.
Channel 4 News was given unrestricted access to witness the public health impact.
Which direction do they go into the sea?
This young man is barely 20. We know he was attacked by 2 men, but he's reluctant to give details on why. The staff are now trying to stem the bleeding. There is concern the wound may be deeper than thought.
There's actively.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Every drop of blood lost increases the risk of death. But even if stab victims survive, there can be long-term injuries.
He seems stable.
With no one this victim knows by his bedside, the friendly face comes from Becky.
We're just here to kind of see what's best for you and what's going to kind of be most useful for you. I imagine you're in a bit of a shock right now. Yeah, you're here. Could have been a lot worse. Sure.
Becky is not a doctor or a policewoman. She's a youth worker.
We embed youth workers into the A&E departments of the major trauma centres in London, and that is to meet with young people who are at risk of or have experienced serious youth violence. So they're expecting to come and get healthcare, which they get, and then the team will kind of step in and alongside that. They're more susceptible and more open to kind of not only change in their life, if indeed that might need to happen, but also the concept of support and kind of working with that support. And then we're looking at their risk and safety and actually what is that going to look like when that young person leaves this hospital in light of what's happened to bring them here.
When you've got a wound here, it not necessarily be that the inside structures, you have to focus just that. It could have gone like that, could have gone in any direction, which we don't know by just looking at the wound. So it's better to screen everything in that region and around that region to make sure that nothing's damaged.
Whilst the stabbing victim undergoes his scan, Becky has to see a young victim of a gun attack. On this ward is a young man who's been shot, and the Met's gangs unit have paid him a visit, but like so many of the young men who come here, he's refusing to talk to them. But he will talk to Becky. The young man, who we cannot identify, is in his early 20s and now has life-changing injuries. Yet last year there were over 6,000 gun offences. That's an astonishing rise of 23%. Becky's not the only one on the ward waiting to see him.
Some of the officers from Trident are here to speak with you.
I mean, I'm not taking nobody to court. I'm letting you know now. I'm not going to take, because I don't know anything anyway, so I can't do that anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? But why does the police want to talk to me?
That feels frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like, why do you want to talk to me? You just want to talk to me to what?
All right. The police wanting to talk to you is to bring someone to justice. Someone has done this to you. All right. So part of the police's role is to investigate that, and the second part is to keep the public safe. All right. Is to prevent that from happening to somebody.
Yeah, I understand. But I don't know anything. So my side of the story ain't going to really help anything because I haven't seen no one. You know what I mean? I didn't see anything.
Okay.
On the streets, justice is not settled via the courts. And that's the part of the cycle Becky is trying to interrupt.
It's not my role to investigate. It's not my role to investigate that. It's my role to support and enable that young person.
If you're armed and safe.
I can't find a solution for all of them. I'm not going to save their lives. The medics have done that. What I put into them, what my team put into them is knowing that, you know, we're going to walk along with them for those next steps if indeed they, you know, they're kind of willing to take that.
We are used to the police dealing with knife violence as a criminal justice issue. But on this ward, Becky's charity Red Thread are tackling it as a public health crisis. Every encounter Becky makes matters. If she has to fight a domino effect of young men returning home intent on inflicting the very harm they've suffered.
Their friends come to visit them, and you hear snippets of their conversations, and it's about getting back at whoever did this, and it seems like a cycle that they can't seem to break. That's the sad thing about it, is that there is just a lot of anger that they can't seem to handle, and can't seem to get beyond.
Still bleeding?
After his scan, the earlier stab victim returns to resus. The staff are calm. They've had far too much practice. St George's is one of just 4 major trauma centres in London, facing over 1,000 stabbings a month.
Lucky man. So it's going to feel a bit weird because where you've got the numbing stuff in at the moment.
Had the weapon entered his body just centimetres closer to his chest, he could have died.
But they're just washing it basically now.
Instead, he could return home as early as tomorrow.
Wanting to let everybody know that you're here. No. Morning. How are you doing? You're standing.
But before he does, Becky is keen to speak with him to prevent the violence from escalating.
So if you were to see them again and realise that you recognise them, what do you think you would do? I know that's a theoretical question, but it's an important one to kind of have some thought about, because it might happen, right? I'm assuming you weren't planning on seeing them yesterday. How are you going to ensure that happens?
Just get on my stuff, get a job, get out there.
Okay, so if I can offer to you that I'm willing, myself, my team or whatever, we can help you out a bit with getting that job and getting you sorted with that. Would that be useful?
Yeah.
It's now home time for this young man. I asked him to call us when he's fit, but he has no fixed address, he has few options, and he's one of thousands of young men this year to be caught in violence. The people trying to keep them alive are doing their best, but they know that patching them up is the easy part.
Adult male trauma, 15 minutes.